All right, now pleased to welcome into the Ryan and Goodman podcast none other than maybe the most social person I've ever met, and that is Boston Celtics forward Grant Williams. And first of all, happy birthday, Grant. You are 22 years young today.
Yes, I am. I guess that's old in NBA terms, but outside of that, I'm feeling great.
Yeah, you never get drafted, at 22. You'd have to beg and plead to draft an old guy like a 22-year-old. They made a big fuss out of Obi Toppin this year. He was 22.
That is crazy. But
oh my God.
Time, I just thought about it. Thanks for telling me. For one, thanks for wishing me happy birthday. But two, I was his 22nd pick, and that was my 22nd birthday. So
I like that. Symmetry.
Little symmetry.
All right. So what are the big plans? I mean, birthdays right now, Thanksgiving, like all these holidays, it's so different. You're in Boston. You're working out before you guys start camp up here in a few weeks. What do you do for your 22nd birthday these days, Grant?
Honestly, I'm probably just going to help Peyton move in. I went down to the package room and realized that everything in the room was Peyton Pritchard's name. And next thing you know, I was like, I gave him a call and I was like, yeah, let me just help you with all this because I'm guessing he's moving in today. So being able to be there for a friend is always good. So I'll probably do that. And then we have a team meeting tonight on Zoom. So I got a pretty filled birthday.
Phil, that's not much, Grant. That moving Peyton in, carrying boxes in is not exactly how I bet you anticipated spending your 22nd birthday this year.
Hey, it's an exciting time. Let's just say that it's a unique situation. Normally, I'd probably be going to dinner or something like that, but something that I'll FaceTime my family. That's another thing. FaceTime my family. Open up the gifts that they mailed, and then that's about it.
Now, did you have any prior relationship with Peyton at AAU or going back? He's a West Coast guy.
I didn't actually, but we both are nerds and we both enjoy the same like board games and card games, hanging out. So when he first got drafted, the first day he was here, we played Catan together, which was like a connection from Tennessee as well as he played at Oregon. And then Carson.
I was going to ask you, 22nd time out here. You jumped the gun here. I was going to ask you if he had any relationship to music because I know with you that's rather important.
Yeah. So musically, I know. We're very much nerds. I feel like Aaron's more of the music person. So Aaron and I connected that way. And then Peyton and I were board games. So like when Carson and Peyton knew each other from USA team and they were originally about to hang out. We were like, hey, let's all just do it in the group. And we hung out together, played cards and got food and kind of just talked a little game about the next how the season will go and what it's like being a rookie, give them a little pointers and they're some great guys. So I'm excited to see what they have moving forward, especially with training camp coming around the corner.
How excited are you to find another board game nerd that can play Catan? I mean, this is big for you. Huge.
This is big time. So actually we taught Aaron how to play. He was willing to learn, and we're probably going to teach Chaco and Carson and a couple others. So we actually might have a new and improved roster, let's just say, when it comes to Catan.
Is there any trash talk possibility brewing between you and Aaron?
Absolutely.
Volunteer state?
I definitely trash talked him when the first day he got here. We were around everyone. They didn't realize that
I'm so shocked to hear that.
Yeah, they didn't know that game was against Aaron. So like I said, that's why on Twitter, I think someone tweeted at me saying, take care of Aaron, yada, yada, Tennessee fam, yada, yada. And I said, I'll make sure to all 43 points of it as a joke. And I tease him about it all the time. He's like, well, you guys know you should have won that one. And I'm just like, hey, we did. And we ended up being number one in the country. So.
What do you think of Aaron now that we got you talking about him for a minute? I mean, you saw him his freshman year at Vandy. This past year, he only played about half the season, but man, did he shoot the hell out of it.
Yeah, he has a ratchet is what they say nowadays, I guess. He can shoot the piss out the ball, shoots with the seams, without the seam. You can throw it to him on his feet. He probably could kick it in. So I'm excited to see how much that helps us as a team because I guess that's something that guys felt that we were lacking last season. And being able to have that threat from the outside, the lethal threat, the way he is, especially off movement, as he self-proclaimed best shooter in the draft. So I'm
with it. Listen, I'm not arguing with that. I said the same thing. Listen, when you shoot 52% from three or whatever he did, even in 14, 15 games,
with
That's
like
tough to do.
11 attempts. It wasn't like it was like 6 attempts or 3 attempts a game.
That's right.
It was up there. So I'm excited to actually see him in action. We're not allowed to do much as a group right now, but seeing him just being able to spot shoot and shooting off the move and stuff that he's doing in his workouts, I've been super impressed with him and Peyton so far.
You should show him tape. You should show him tape, Grant, of your early season 3-point stroke from when you started out last year, 0 for 25.
I don't think that he would want to take pointers on that. I think that's something you could show him not to do, something like that.
But how do you feel about yourself now? He kind of anticipated my question. Having gotten beyond that, having done what you did afterward, I mean, how as you look forward to this season, then how you can implement the 3-point shot into your game.
I'm excited. I feel like after I made my first 3, I think kind of just the pressure came off and it showed what type of shooter I actually was. I think towards the end, after I made my first one, I shot, I think 40% or 39% from there moving forward, and then 50 something in the playoffs. So I just hope to continue to improve and continue to not only just improve my consistency of my shot, but also the volume, because I feel like I shot 1 or 2 a game maybe last year, and being able to not only knock down and take a couple more will hopefully expand not only the offense for Jason and those guys, but also give me a chance to crack this rotation and be one of those vital key guys.
What was the biggest adjustment for you last year? Now looking back on it, having a year to kind of look back, coming from college where you absolutely dominated most of the game, where you dominated was inside of 15 feet though. What was the biggest adjustment for you?
I feel like the biggest adjustment that not many people really realize is going from a person that has the ball in their hands all the time to then having to, at the spur of the moment, be able to perform. And that's something that I was never really used to. I remember back in high school, I had done it before, but back then I was it was comfortable because it's something I had done before. Even when I did have the ball in my hands, I was still creative and made plays. But going to just shoot threes was definitely difficult at the beginning. And I started becoming more comfortable and actually understanding my role within the offense, not only just motion and understanding what the team would need. And I feel like that's something that's huge, as well as the speed part of the game, because defensively, I felt like I was a step behind in the beginning of the year. And that's something that I really worked on throughout the entire season, one from my coach, Brandon Bailey. And I have to give him a lot of credit because I improved in not only my numbers, but also just I feel like as a player.
Well, it seems to me they're asking an awful lot out of you defensively, since you've been guarding everybody from postmen to, the God knows what. I mean, but you really have guarded a range of people already in your rookie year. Is this the way it's going to be forever? Did they tell you this, or do you think this, or what? I mean, that you're going to be this kind of a queen on the chessboard defensively?
Yeah, I feel like I'm just a Swiss Army knife. I'm a guy that you can throw in anywhere and he should be okay. Put me on the point guard, I feel like I'll be able to defend. Put me on the center, I should be able to hold my own. And something that I guess I have to make a mark of my whole career. There's not many guys within the league that can really say they can do that. And I feel like I've proven that I can do it at spurts, but being able to do that consistently is something that if you can expand on will not only hopefully keep you in the league, but also do a good job of helping you perform and be able to be a key vital player. So I think that's something that they may ask me to do. I'm here for whatever the coach needs or wants. So honestly, if they choose to and say, hey, go guard Joel Embiid, then go guard Ben Simmons, then go guard Seth Curry, I guess I have to do it all.
You're not complaining. You never do. I mean, you can't, right? I mean, you do whatever they ask you to do. We had Brad on the podcast last week, and we kind of made fun of him to some degree over the fact that he would let Bob shoot threes if Bob was on the team. I mean, everybody has the green light. How is it to play for a guy like that, Grant? Because not every coach is that way.
Oh, for sure. He encourages you to help the team by not only making those shots, because when you make them, it creates not only spacing for other guys to do what they really are really good at. And it also allows you to stick on the court, because if you can knock down an open three, even a contested three, it's hard to do in this league. The line a little bit further, and something that you can set and make your mark in your career. So it's encouraging to have a person who encourages you and tries to support you and keeps your head up no matter what's going through. I remember my whole 0 through 25 stretch. He just said, "You're a better shooter than this. You know it. Just keep shooting." And when they fall. And next thing you know, when I made my first one, I just continued on that track.
Because some guys would have said, "Hey, you know what? Done." Like at 0 for 22, they might have been like, "Hey, Grant, you know what? This isn't helping us. Like no more threes for a while." He was the opposite.
He was the opposite. He was encouraging me to shoot more, actually, and that's something that I always be thankful for. I thought I was going to be Zaza, though. Zaza Pachulia for 31.
When you were recruited, I did a little research. Coach Barnes said that he saw a PJ Tucker in you. Now, A, did that mean anything to you at that moment? B, does it mean anything to you now?
I love PJ as a player. His game has competitiveness. He's a dog. He's a tough person. And it's something back then where I kind of took it as an edge thing because, being a North Carolina kid, you're always like, hey, you see me as PJ Tucker, but I'm going to be better than him. And that's something that I taught Coach Barnes all the time. And it's something that you look at PJ Tucker in the league. He's made a name for himself because of his defensive presence, because of his corner three-point stroke, and being able to be a guy who can do the same thing that I was talking about, guard a guy like Joel and then go guard Steph Curry or go guard whoever else. So I have tremendous respect for him. He's the OG, honestly, because he's 30, I think 36 now, 35 maybe. And to look up to him as well as a guy like Draymond and those guys are the guys who made it possible for me to be here. So thankful for a guy like PJ. And honestly, looking back then and now, I just got to say that it's definitely something that I'm thankful for Coach Barnes.
When you were growing up, did you have one of those Carolina colleges that you would like to have played for?
I feel like I grew up a Carolina fan just because of my brother's teammate, Kennedy Meeks, went there, as well as I didn't know much about Coach K because academically, I loved Duke as a school. So it kind of was like a dual-edged sword. I loved the school of Duke better, but I loved the program of Roy because I was like, Kennedy's going there, so it must be a good team. Like he's had guys like this name or whoever. Michael Jordan went there too. So like that's not a bad university. Okay. And next thing you know, so that was probably the one. But I remember they told me my freshman year that I was too small. And then my junior year, they tried to recruit me again. And it was way too late because it was like I was probably their 8th option, not even 8th, probably 20th option. So looking back on it, I was like, dang, it would have been nice to go to a home state school, stuff like that, play for a blue blood. But I feel like I made the right choice, I feel like we were right.
Who else was in it for you?
It was Tennessee, Yale, Princeton, Harvard, and Richmond. Those were my 5. I didn't have – Tennessee was my one lone high major offer outside of Boston College, who had just went 0-16 or 0-18, whatever it was the previous year, which is not a shot.
You would have had a spot, you know that.
I would have been able to play. That's something I would be able to say.
Away.
It would have been me, Kyron Bowman, and Jerome, so that would have been a pretty good team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we would have won some games, but I feel like the Tennessee decision was the one I made.
Yeah, I mean, Bob, part of the way that Grant ended up at Tennessee was he's from Charlotte, and the assistant, Des Oliver, who's now at Tennessee, at that point was at Charlotte, got hired by Rick Barnes, and Des basically convinced Rick, right, Grant, for the most part early on.
I was about to say, I don't even think they knew who I was or what type of player I was going to be. I don't think they really had faith that I was going to end up doing what I was doing.
They did not.
I feel like they were they were a little bit more sad about a guy named Jaylen Johnson in my class and John Fulkerson, who were both phenomenal players. Jaylen's at Wake now, and then Fulky is crushing it at Tennessee. So I was kind of like that back end where it was like, trust me. Coach Oliver said, put your trust in me, and I hope this guy will perform. And I don't think they made a mistake.
They did not. So you like to talk. We know that. We've had several conversations, Bob, in the locker room pregame where we're talking, and literally the PR staff's got to tell me to like get out, and I'm like, listen, Grant's still talking. Like yell at him, not me. But give me a moment last year when your liking to talk got you in trouble with the staff, with Brad. Was there ever a moment where Brad was like, hey, Grant, you know what? Like, shut up.
There was definitely a moment I'll say one of the two. The first, I'll give you a hint about. It was, I definitely tried to speak up in that whatever meeting we had or whatever it was after game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Definitely told to shut the fuck up then. But before then, I got told to be quiet because I kept trying to like explain how it worked, like how this team played and stuff like that. And they were like, you just got here. Like, how do you know how this team is going to play or how this player does this? And I was like, I just try to help. I'm sorry. So I definitely got a couple of shut-ups. Tyson's told me shut up a couple of times just because I'll be on the court trying to call out someone else's play. And he's like, just let the play happen. We kind of know what's coming, but you don't have to call it out what's coming. And like, there's a clip of me in the Eastern Conference Finals screaming at Duncan Robinson for a play. And I was like, yeah, those are the points where you're like, okay, Grant, sometimes you talk a lot.
I love it, Grant. I think everybody loves it. You take the locker room to a different level. I mean that in a great way. Like, you loosen it up, you have fun, and you weren't there the year before. But that locker room, the last couple of years before you got there, and I'm not putting it all on you, but I think you and Taco certainly helped. Kemba is Kemba. He's not the most vocal guy in the world, as you know, from living with him. But Kemba's just always smiling, always. Like, you never see Kemba without a smile on his face. So I think the three of you took the locker room to a completely different level, and I think really helped the chemistry of the team, to be honest. So
thank you.
That's my two.
Hopefully, let's keep that up and have a great year moving forward.
You still listen to Coltrane before a game?
Yeah, I listen to New Edition. I listen to everybody. I'm a Coltrane. Coltrane is probably from my grandfather. Actually, he just sent me home with where is it? It's in my bag. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
He sent me home with. Here we go. Some sheet music. Coltrane's best, one of his best, Giant Steps.
Oh, Giant Steps. I know. That's your old standby.
Yes, exactly. So he sent it back and said, give it to Taco, because I know Taco wants to learn how to play. And so he sent me back with Giant Steps, and he says, you can sing too along to it. I'm not about to sing with you guys, but
come on, nothing. You don't got anything?
No.
Nothing.
It's my birthday, so I don't feel inclined.
All right. We'll let you off the hook.
Brian McKnight's Moody's Move for Love. That's another one he sent me back with. So those are the two that I have here with my little keyboard to the side of me. And hopefully I can learn how to play both of these to a high level.
by dinner time, you mean, right?
By dinner time, maybe not, but hopefully by breakfast, maybe.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. I'll hold you to that. I'm going to hold you to that. That's
you and Taco still doing your podcast? You going to do that this year or no?
Yes, that's the plan. So right now we're actually in the process of basically, I guess, negotiations. So like we're seeing how it goes. COVID kind of shut a lot of stuff down, but we're definitely excited and trying. We actually have a lot of equipment now, so we're going to be hopefully get it rolling, stepping it up. Along the ways.
Which on-court skill of any of your teammates dazzled you the most?
The on-court skill that dazzled me the most, other than Tice blocking shots without looking at them, that's something that gets me every time, where he like turns his head and just jumps and then will like for some reason get the ball. But I feel like just Jason's flow to his game, like he has a nice pace where you kind of like dance with. He looks like he's dancing on the court, and it's like boom, boom, behind the back, and next thing you know, he's off to the side with his little slick sidestep, and the three is up. Or even just Jaylen's athleticism, Kemba's ball skills, another thing, like something where I guess maybe it's an advantage being lower to the ground. I kind of give him to that. Him and Tremont have a little hitch where they can like hesitate and come off, but the way that he'll come down, have the ball on the ground, boom, boom, stop on a dime, and then you'll close out and you almost fall and he'll go right by you. So those three are definitely the ones. And then I miss Gordon because of his ability to not only just see the court and just feel the game. He was one of those guys where like he was deceptively athletic, but at the same time, it looked like he was just kind of playing the game. And I feel like those four definitely have each where some things that I admire.
Okay, flip side, which opponent made you go, oh my God?
Which opponent? When I played Dame the first time, he definitely schooled me a couple ways. Chris Middleton was the first guy I could say that messed me up, but the next game I thought I did well against him. But Chris Middleton for sure. And then LeBron, because it's LeBron. And next, he made a pass.
That guy in LA, right? LeBron, that's that guy in LA. Oh, yeah.
That's some guy in LA. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
30 guy, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So next thing you know, he's in the corner, and he made a pass to Kyle Kuzma. I remember it to this day, where he was getting double teamed because he had just spun on the baseline. The baseline was right to his side. He made a right-handed flip pass across the court at full pace and hit it directly in his pocket. And I was like, okay, that's how his ability is just there. I don't know if anyone else could make that pass with the stress that was there, as well as the amount of time on the clock. It was one of those where you're like, oh my goodness. Those are probably the three I would say had me in a wow moments.
And one more question for me, for sure. For the record, how tall are you?
For the record, I am 6'6". In my opinion, people can say 6'7" due to shoes, but 6'6" is the height that I would probably go with, just because it's the honest height.
Just keeping that in mind, people, when they put him up to guard Joel Embiid.
Yes,
it's which they do. So
I've gotten everything
in mind. I want people to understand what
everything from 6'3" to 6'8" and 6'9". I'm like, where is these heights coming from?
All right, so I got one for you. All right, so we got the height. I want to know the vert, Grant. What's the vert?
The vert? Oh dear. It's a smooth 52. That's something that I jump out the gym is what people tell me. I don't know. I got compared to Jordan once. That sky across the air. But
have you done vertical since
I haven't done vertical in forever. But let's just say it's not as high as you may think. But I definitely block shots, so it works out. That's. I'll just say let's go with that.
Yeah, standing reach. You're long. We'll give you the length.
We'll give me length. Yeah, we'll give me length and the ability to challenge shot.
No doubt. So, all right, let's go a couple things. Let's start with Gordon. And how much his loss will affect this team going forward, and how it will.
Well, Gordon's a great person, even better player, and we'll definitely miss him in terms of the camaraderie he brings. He brings a nice little off-beat personality where it's he's not super talkative, but he's not quiet. And then you respectfully says he's a deep voice. And so we'll definitely miss that. We'll definitely miss his play style. He's a guy that led the second unit. He was a guy, or even the first unit when he was going. So we're definitely going to miss him. But I think that it creates opportunities for a lot of guys on this team to step up and perform and show, I guess, what they can. And there opens up opportunities for myself, Romeo, the new guys, as well as Aaron Neesmith and those guys, and maybe expand Smart's role a little bit as well. So I think we're in a good spot. I think that we'll miss him, but at the same time, I think that we have the ability to step up in his place.
You give him any Charlotte spots already?
I texted him this whole paragraph of if you need anything, whether it's schools for the dog, for kids, because I know schools there, I know places that you want to go or places you want to eat. Gordon's response is probably just a little. He texted me a little thing, and I was like, oh, okay. I love G. But I'll give him a call probably when he gets down there and settled, and give him a couple more recommendations. But I probably sent a longer list than probably needed. Let's just say that.
Yeah, no surprise. Kemba, let's move on to Kemba. You were with him a lot before the bubble, right? You guys lived together.
Yeah, I stayed with him for 3 months. Yeah.
First of all, before we get on to Kemba and the health issues, which I want to ask you about, okay, what was that like? Because Kemba doesn't say much. You don't stop.
I don't know. I don't say much when I'm relaxed. So when I'm I typically you can ask anyone. When I'm in my apartment or when I'm just honestly lazy. I'm a different person. I'm social in social settings, and then when I'm pretty much an introvert when I'm on my own. So Kemba and I worked out really well because every now and again we come down, may play video games, may sit down, play Trouble, cards, or whatever, and then outside of that we're kind of living life and doing our own thing. So one of my close friends on the team, closest friends on the team, and definitely one of the guys I'm thankful for. Is my OG.
Elite level person, Kemba, always has been. I've known him since he was in AAU ball. How healthy was he in the bubble last year? Could you tell? Did you talk to him about it? Obviously, right now, we talked to Brad last week, and he pretty much said, without saying it, that he's probably not going to be ready, or he doesn't think he's going to be ready maybe for the start of the season. So how hard is this watching Kemba in the bubble, not being probably 100% and still kind of getting over this knee issue?
Honestly, it shows his heart. It shows, like, for all the fans that were crushing them and stuff like that, like, I just never really understand that because, for one, the type of person he is, and for two, the type of player that he has shown that he has been. He stepped up in games where we needed him to. But you definitely can like, as Brad was basically saying, like, you can definitely tell he may miss a little bit of time, but I know that he's a fighter. I know he's gonna get back to who he is and prove the world of why he was considered one of the top point guards in the league, if not, like, arguably one of the top 3 or 4. So I'm just super stoked for him and his process, and excited to have him back. But I know that when we were in the bubble, like, we had to step up around him, and it wasn't Kemba's fault. It wasn't anybody's fault one individually. Like, we had guys who were banged up. Gordon had his ankle thing, but that can't discredit the Miami team. They did beat us, and they're definitely a talented group of young players. So I'm excited to see how this league will moving forward.
I got to ask you about another teammate on the court. Were you prepared for Marcus Smart?
I don't know if anyone's prepared for Smart. I try to get the rookies the best description of how Smart is and his personality. And let's just say that I love Smart. I think he's one of those good guys that definitely has, like, a little bit of a edge. Let's just say a little bit of an edge. Good guy with edge.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Just a little edge.
I said he got to have opponents thinking, where is he? Every second on the court, right?
Yeah.
Where is he? Is he out? You know, I think it would have that effect on people.
I feel like as a quarterback, so when you snap the ball and you know you can't go to a certain guy because he's covered by, like, the elite cornerback or elite DB, and you're like, yeah, I'm just not even going to look that way. That's how it is with Smart. You kind of just, like, whoever he's on, like, let's just go away from that person. Like, he might be the best player in the world. Like, you might put somebody that may be the number 1 player on earth, and next thing you know, you're like, I still might take Smart in that matchup. So I'll pass it off to the second best on our team. So definitely huge Smart fan.
Go ahead, Bob.
I was going to say, I always say to people, he leads the league in one category. It'll never be top. And that is most alley-oop passes intended for 7-foot Greeks intercepted. He did 2 years ago.
Very true.
That was my favorite play of the year. He leads the league in that category.
Yeah, I can agree.
So your locker is next to Tatum's, which I find kind of funny because, again, Tatum is chill all the time, super chill. What do you get on him about? Like, what can you get on Jason about now that because I know you do. I know there's something that you go at him at and make fun of him and get him going about. What is it?
Well, for sure. I have a lot of things with Jason. Like, I that's my guy. Like, I've known him for a while. He's best friends with one of my best friends in the past, and that helped us become close when we got to the team. So definitely one of those where it's like I can annoy him quick if I felt like it. I can, like, learn how to talk. Like, there's things that I'll do. Like, I remember there was one time where we were in the bubble, how I kept challenging him and contesting him, and I feel like there's not many guys who would want to do that, but with me, I was just doing it. He said, he told Javante, he said, tell Grant to shut the and then Javante pulled me over to the side. He'd be like, JC, you want to tell me, you know. I was like, oh yeah. I said, I'm not gonna shut up. So definitely my dude. I think they put me next to him for that reason. Because we just goof off, and he knows that everything I talk to him about is coming from the heart and genuine. So and I'm hopefully I can be Uncle Grant to Little Deuce, but I don't know if I'm there yet. I don't know if I'm close enough for that.
No, you got to go a little longer.
I think I have a long process to get there, but like
listen. You got to find out. All you got to do is find out, like, what is Deuce like, the candy, whatever it is. That's how you got to do it. I mean, this isn't that hard.
Right, it's 2, right? So or 3.
I think it's 3 now.
agree now. Yeah. So
one more guy we got to ask you about because he's an interesting person as well, and that is Jaylen Brown. And we even start with social activism let's start with that and with how he's inspired or kind of led the way on your ball club.
Yeah, JB is a phenomenal mind. He's a person that challenges. I kind of feel like everything that's established, and it's something that you kind of respect about him because it's the truth. Like some things that have been around and you may not have even thought about once, and next thing you know, you start deeply thinking because you're around JB. You're like, wow, like he's a creative person, and no wonder he's so intelligent. No wonder he picks up information so well, and something that I definitely respect about him and his activism. He's a person that stands up and isn't afraid of how it affects him. It's bigger than him, and I think that's a tremendous credit to not only how he was raised, but also the humility that comes with it. And let's just say JB is one of those guys where you kind of and he's always been open about his not only just mental side of not only just mental health, and you just kind of have a full-on respect for him as a player, and I think he has that respect across the league.
Is there anybody you haven't gotten along with, Grant? Like, I know on the court, you've had your issues, obviously, with guys because of how you play. But again, like once people get to know you, it's hard for people. Like, have you ever like literally had it out with somebody?
I don't think so. I feel like at times guys can hate me at first because they have to get used to me. Like I feel like when I first got to the team, I've always felt like Tice just hated me and didn't enjoy having me around and stuff like that. And I said, look, Tice, you're going to get to a point where you're saying, that's just Grant. And you're just going to be like, that's the person. Like my mom always had this saying where, will you still love me if I was upside down in the corner with my dress, like, and like, didn't even like, and I was like crazy or whatever. I said, yes, mom, I'll still love you. So like, that's kind of how it kind of described, not myself. I'm not upside down in the dress, but I'm definitely the person where it's like eventually you'll just be like, that's just Grant. He's like a nerd. He's a good dude. Like he means well. Like don't take him too harshly.
Grant, Bob, how about this one? This is unbelievable. Anytime anybody asked Grant at Tennessee to go to a game, could have been a soccer, lacrosse, you name it, whatever it was. If he could, he'd go. Even last year, he told me he wanted to go. My daughter played like freshman JV volleyball, like isn't an athlete at all. And Grant's like, tell me when she's playing, I'm going to get there. No, it never happened. But
COVID.
Exactly. It was a little bit difficult, but are you still doing that? I mean, you can't right now, obviously with COVID, but like, did you do that even when you got to Boston a little bit?
I did it when I got to Boston a little bit. I went to a couple Harvard games. I went to a couple high school games around the area, but due to COVID and everything, that kind of shut everything down. But I still would do it. Like I feel the same. Like I kind of feel like support is needed not only just in life, but with everything. So I feel like it's vital. Like it's a huge part of everything that's going on, and being able to be tied into the community, and also show that you actually care. Like it's something that guys can say they do, but being involved and being a person that puts that foot forward is something that I always try to commend myself on.
When any rookie enters the league, you obviously your first training camp is you're loaded with questions, I would think, right? And so tell me, as you enter year two, how differently you feel and what it's done for your confidence level, everything else, knowing that you've got this 1 year under your belt.
Yeah, you definitely are a little bit more confident. You know what to expect, and you're just doing it against new guys. So training camp's going to be exciting because last season it was me going. I was excited because I was like, I'm about to see what Ennis is like. Like Ennis Cantor is like a tremendous offensive rebounder. Just went to the Western Conference Finals as well, seeing JT and those guys in action, and now it's like, oh, I get to see what Tristan Thompson and his NBA champion and another phenomenal rebounder, and then all the guys that I already know, as well as Jeff Teague, who's an all-star, quick, dynamic, athletic point guard, and just the rookies as well. I've been playing one-on-one with those guys when they first got here, like seeing how talented they were, and I'm excited. It's just like you're more confident stepping into it. You know the system. You're not worried about having all these different things. You have a place to stay, so it's definitely more so a little bit of comfort towards it, and you kind of just gotta approach it and hopefully improve as time goes on.
What's it like right now, Grant? I mean, again, take me through since the season ended, even how much time you shut down, or did you even really, take off much time, because you guys had a lot of time off?
Yeah, you know me
prior to
better.
the-
I took like 4 days,
Yeah.
3 days maybe, but then I just got right back to it. Just now, I'm just working out. But basketball, you kind of just do. In that time, you had to find where you could go, and honestly, now it's more so like we're getting used to this regulations of the league of individuals for the first couple of days due to Thanksgiving and guys traveling back and making sure everyone's negative testing wise. But once we're able to start doing team stuff and we can have access to our facility, and then it's full on run, and we play in, think about it, we play in 14 days or 13 days or less than that. So
Crazy.
To be prepared for that within the next 2 weeks, it's not we're playing any quote bad team. We're playing Philadelphia and Brooklyn, so we're starting off out the gate playing against two of the top teams in the league. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how these next couple weeks go.
Yeah, Tessie, you're going to have a lot of trouble your homework assignment is going to be memorizing the 63,000 word memo the league sent out about the COVID protocol.
Protocols. Yeah. See,
somebody's going to come to you to say, okay, Grant, what's on page 42? So,
see, I said this. I said I can be in charge of certain things, like parts of it, but like don't that the full sheet. I'll leave that to Mike Zarin and those guys. They can take care of all that.
Zarin will condense it. Zarin will get it.
Zarin will get it down. Zarin will make it a spreadsheet or a PowerPoint for us.
Very true. Very true. He'll and then he'll write the league with what he thinks it should be. Right.
And what should improve.
Exactly. No doubt. No doubt. All right. So your Tennessee Vols, we have to get on before we wrap this soon. I got them ranked 20th in the preseason. Everybody's killing me. Everybody's like, what? 20th? They should be 10th. I know. Listen, I know I've heard how good from Kimmy English, Keon Johnson, Jaden Springer are. I know they got your boy Fulke back. Yves Pons back. Hopefully Josiah has a better sophomore season. He takes a jump. What do you think of this team? Have you seen these guys? Have you had a chance?
I watched them practice, and they're talented. They're probably one of the more talented teams that they've had at Tennessee. We've had so far, and it reminds me of kind of that team that won the SEC championship, because they had a lot of dynamic guards in that team. But I feel like you kind of just look at the difference. We had a couple of NBA guys as well as pros, and they're going to have the same. And as well as they have Fulke, who is probably going to get, I hope he gets SEC Player of the Year. I think he's out or has a candidate for it. And then we have Fulke on our team. So I always kind of compare the rosters. But I think they're going to be really, really good. 20th, I feel like I can understand why you did that because of their youth, as well as the veteran leadership of Fulke and Eve. Like, they have to step up and do their thing on a consistent level, because Fulke was on the back half of the year. So I'm excited to see what they perform, because I think that 20 will change to like 8 very soon, like really, really quickly after how
played. They got COVID, so they've been shut down. So, but I had them lower than most. A lot of people have them in that 10, 15 range. It's so hard. I mean, you're ranking teams on paper.
I think that they have the talent to compete with anyone in the country. I think that the coaching is there, so they'll be able to be in any game. Defensively, they're going to be a lot more dynamic because of the amount of how many different ways they can play. They have all the guards they can play, as well as Fulke, who can probably switch and defend as well, and then Eve, who can do what he does, as well as the grad transfer in EJ, the other transfer, Victor Bailey, who I've heard a lot of good things about. And I think that they're just gonna have a lot of edge on a lot of teams, because they're not as deep as we are. And in college, that's huge, because you can get away with having a non-shooter on the court and non-this, that, or whatever, but to lose depth is hard. When you play 5 guys or 6 guys at a top level team, like they wear out over the course of the game, versus if you have 8 or 9, like remember we played Gonzaga the last year, we were both pretty deep teams. So it was a very competitive game. Same with those Kentucky Auburn games. Like, you look at all across those teams, no matter if they were pros or not, they were deep all the way down to like the 9th man, 10th man. So I think that's what's going to separate Tennessee. I think they can really crack that top 10 sooner than you may think.
I noticed you were very quick to congratulate those Richmond Spiders for their victory over the Wildcats.
It's a little love to Mooney and love to the.
It's time to notice that tweet.
Yeah.
Did you tweeted it out? Congrats to Richmond.
Yes, he
I
did.
posted, my dad posted the photo of my visit to Richmond because Mooney was there, was my recruiter and everything like that. So I retweeted that and retweeted the win. But I also retweeted, we got to give a little bit of credit to the post by CHZ. He was talking about how Kentucky always young, so they always lose in the beginning of the year.
I saw that, yes.
And then win. But
Good.
it feels a little good to
Very
say that.
diplomatic, very good.
Yes, it feels a little good to say that also. Being a Tennessee guy, being able to say that, Richmond kicked their butt, but
I'm sure you're not upset when Kentucky loses.
not at all. But I have a friend on there now, so Terrence Clark.
Yep.
I got to give him a little bit of love.
And he's around Jaylen a lot, right?
Yeah,
After
that's one of his guys. So Terrence is a good dude, as well as Olivier Sarr, who's friends with Eve at Tennessee. So I have to show a little bit of support to those two guys. But outside of that, I still want Kentucky.
My big thing on Kentucky, even this year, and a lot in the past, is they've got all these athletic dudes who can really play. They haven't had a ton of like elite level shooters.
Yeah, that's something that will always be a crush for them, just because they have the ability to pound you on the glass, the ability to defend, stuff like that. But you're dealing with a lot of one and done. So typically you're going to have to, you can't really instill that over 4 years. You instill that over 2 or 3 years. Like you instill your philosophies and stuff like that. Having someone buy into defensive rebounding, offensive rebounding is difficult, for anyone, especially if they're coming to be one of the top 50 recruits in the country. So I think Coach Cal does a great job of getting those guys especially towards the end of the year, of understanding the importance and understanding about it. Definitely has a learning curve, and I think that's what a team like Richmond can take advantage of, like elite level or talented mid-major that has depth and experience, and that showed. And I think that's where that's why I said Tennessee I understand where you have a little bit lower than most, because yes, they have the talent for it, but at the same time they are young. You're gonna have Josiah and like even Fulker, to quote the two leaders, but then EJ's he's old, but he always with the team. Exactly. And then, so you kind of have to understand there's going to be a learning curve. It's just a matter of how quick they get out of it, how they respond. And I think that Cal and Coach Barnes and everyone do a great job of it. So I'm excited to see. I wish I could have seen that Gonzaga Tennessee game. I know. That would have been a lot of talent in that court. But hey, hopefully we get in the future.
Hey, give me your best Rick Barnes prank while I've got you on.
Other than the popcorn while I was running on the treadmill, I feel like that story's been told millions of times, but he definitely pranks guys. Like I remember while we were on our overseas trip in Barcelona, or Cambridge on the water, we had these water guns, they're like little water guns, and Coach Barnes would just squirt one of our, was it Reed or somebody within our program? He would just squirt him in the back of the shirt and then duck down. And then keep doing stuff like that. So then guys, we kind of goofed off with Coach Barnes. So Jordan Bowden, myself, and a couple other guys, we started squirting Coach. So he says, you know what? I'm just not going to get y'all back right now. I'll get y'all back later. And his whole deal. So Jordan Bowden falls asleep. And he grabs 2 water bottles and just pours them all over JB. And then myself, he squirted me in my ear with the water gun. And my ear, that whole trip was clogged. I couldn't hear anything the rest of the trip. So I had to get it flushed out and stuff like that when I got back. And it was, let's just say Coach Barnes is a kid at heart, no matter how old he is.
A kid, we're going to get him at some point. I want to get him, but people have told me if you get him, the problem is nothing is off limits, Bob. If you get Rick Barnes on a break, he's going to come back and your wife, your kid, it doesn't matter.
Everything's included. Everything's included. I remember I debated doing something epic before I left the school, and MC Mary Carter advised me not to, because she said he will find a way to get you back, and no matter what it is, he will find a way. So you could be millions of miles away, and he'll get you back. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to play this game.
I was going to get him with Few. Few and I were gonna team up and get him before the Jimmy V, and obviously it never happened. So
right,
but at some point, we'll get him. We'll get him. Somebody will get him. Maybe
somebody will get him.
You and I. Maybe now you're a little bit tougher. You're gone. He can't do it.
I can stand up. I don't have to run any more 17s.
That's right. So, all right. Listen. Happy birthday, Bob. Do you want to do a quick
happy birthday to you? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Grant Williams, the volunteer. Happy birthday to you.
That is love. I appreciate you guys. Also,
Thanks a lot,
beautiful
Grant.
voice. Thank
That
you.
is impressive, right?
Yeah, I was about to say, come on. Really good.
Don't want to hear me sing. Whatever you do, we're not going to go there. We're not going to go there.
If you're a rookie, I'd make you do it.
Fortunately,
I'm
it's
sure
in
you
my
would. You got to get Peyton. You got to get Peyton
Oh,
pretty
it's
good.
tonight. Team meeting. Peyton.
You going to get him
Aaron.
tonight?
Absolutely.
All right.
They
good.
made me
Let
do
know.
it to all the guys last year. They're doing it tonight.
All right. Have fun. Happy birthday. Thanks for joining us. And I hope I'll see you in person soon.
Thanks
For
a
sure.
lot.
Thank y'all.
Take
See
care,
y'all
man.
later.